Well, in the thick of political party campaigning, a group of women have made their own statement on Constitutional Hill. They camped outside the country's apex court last week under the banner of the Khulumani Support Group. The civil society organisation is pushing for reparations for thousands of victims of brutality during apartheid. Well, the most elderly residents from townships in Ekurhuleni have also penned letters to the Justice Minister and President demanding they conclude the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's unfinished work. Khulumani's National Director, Dr. Marjorie Jobson, speaks to us this morning. Marjorie, thanks for joining us. The last numbers I saw was 1.9 billion rand sitting in the President's Fund designated by the TRC to help victims of apartheid. The Department of Justice is in charge of the purse. Why has none of this been dispersed, or has some of it?
Thank you, Annika. The money sits in the President's Fund, which is taken care of by the Department of Justice. The money is designated for reparations, but the country has never agreed a policy to allow the implementation of that money. So everything that has happened in terms of some disbursement of the funding has been on the basis of ad hoc regulations. So that's the biggest challenge we have. We've been campaigning for reparations since 1998 because we know historically across the world, the last things that are ever won are reparations and redress for historical crimes. So it is a major part of our agenda, and it's very, very painful that our government, after such an extraordinary example of a truth commission, has never delivered on what assists victims.
Marjorie, I'm struggling to understand why all these years... Sorry, we've got a little bit of an audio breakup. Marjorie, I'm struggling to understand why all these years on, that 1.9 million hasn't been spent.
So you are referring to the balance that is left in the President's Fund.
Yeah.
And the disbursements that have been made are to 17,000 individual victims who got the prize of getting a TRC number from the Commission. Everybody else who didn't get that magic number has been excluded. And that is the majority of survivors in this country, something like 110,000 people. So for us, fundamentally, this is an issue of unequal justice in a situation where people who suffered the same atrocities should, in terms of our Constitution, should get the same treatment. That has never been done yet.
Marjorie, what's the next step, and what kind of interaction have you had with the President's Fund?
So we have been interacting with them since that unit and the fund was set up in 2005. We have presented multiple proposals for how it can best meet the needs of the survivors of these apartheid atrocities. There has been absolutely no movement on the side of the Department of Justice. In fact, we have known since the TRC report that there's actually almost no political will to settle this historical trauma with reparations. And one of the difficulties we have at the moment is that the people who have organized the sleep-in at the Constitutional Court are people from the East Rand, mainly Thokoza and Park. And because of their frustration, they have broken away from Khulumani that has managed to contain everybody under the same umbrella because they've been utterly frustrated in the lack of any movement. And unfortunately, what they are busy doing is urgently trying to sign up more people. But in fact, we have the entire database of everybody who suffered an atrocity, apartheid atrocity, that should have been assisted by the Truth Commission. So I just want people to know, please don't listen to the forms that you are being sent. People who are doing this are actually advancing their own agendas and not the Khulumani agenda. And that's very, very sad because once again, victims and survivors will be the victims of an unlawful process. We have all your documents on our database.
And at the end of the day, it's those victims of the most terrible atrocities who are losing out and not getting the reparations that they deserve. Well, that was Kulamani's National Director, Dr. Marjorie Jobson. Thank you so much for your time this morning.